Welcome to Arcadia University. My name is Frank. I'm an ambassador tour guide here at Arcadia. I'm studying English with a concentration in creative writing, and I'm a junior. And I'll be showing you around Great Towers Castle. So behind me here is the grand staircase. What we are in right now is the grand hall, which is really cool. It's one of my favorite places to hang out here at the university. Up there is the music landing, which we'll get to in a little bit, but right down here, just to name out a few things. So right over here are twin fireplaces, both made from materials that were all imported from France, which is really cool. Other than that, Mr. Harrison, who is the man right over there on the wall, he was the funder for this entire project. It was roughly $250,000 to produce the castle back in that time period, which is amazing and really cool. Now it's estimated well into the millions of dollars. Other two really cool things about the castle are actually both of the, the light fixtures at the end of the staircase is really cool in that pretty much all the lighting in the castle is original. Obviously they do change the wiring and the light bulbs, but the castle was one of the first places in the United States at that time period to have electricity sourced from one building up to here and sourced and heated as well. But for now, we're actually gonna walk over here into the Rose Room and we'll be taking a look at that. All right, so now what we're standing in right now is the Rose Room, a really pretty room here in the castle. So one really cool thing back in the day, Mr. and Mrs. Harrison actually split the castle directly in half. So when we were out in the lobby, pretty much directly diagonal to us here was Mrs. Harrison's side of the castle. So she actually designed primarily a lot of these rooms, a lot of things that were seemed feminine at that time period. So you can kind of tell it has that more elegance to it. But this room is named the Rose Room for the cherubs on the ceiling holding roses. It is really pretty just to sit up and actually look at them all. Back in the day, there used to also be rose tapestries on the wall. Obviously now they are painted. Other than that, it used to be the Harrisons, pretty much where they entertained guests. Back in when it was Beaver College, this is where they also used to have their rec room for all of just whatever they wanted to do. Now it's used by multiple clubs such as Haunted Castle, which uses it pretty much, that is their event, is Haunted Castle, which is really cool, and that the whole downstairs is transformed into this big Haunted Castle. Each year it's a different theme. But yeah, so I'm actually gonna take a look at one of my favorite rooms, which is the mirror room right over here. All right, so right now we're entering my favorite room here at Arcadia is actually the mirror room. So one of the coolest features about this room, it was kind of built almost like the IKEA of the time. So this room is actually pretty much all built over in France, deconstructed and then shipped here and then reinstalled. It's really cool because it is also based off of the Palace of Versailles mirror room, which is actually a place I was able to visit my freshman year for the preview program that Arcadia does, which is really cool. On the ceiling, it is pretty awesome just to sit here and look at. So it depicts the 4 seasons and the Greek myth that runs behind it. It is all the 4 seasons and also with the zodiac running behind the seasons, which is really cool. Other than that, the Harrisons pretty much use this as their ballroom where they would even entertain guests on a larger scale. Again, we use this for all different events, Haunted Castle being a primarily one of them, and sometimes certain clubs do something called the Yule Ball, which I'm sure you've seen, maybe if you're a Harry Potter fan, and all of that. So we're actually gonna then now go look at Mr. Harrison's private man's cave, if you will. All right, so welcome to the Nostrum conference room. So back when the Harrisons still owned the estate, this was pretty much Mr. Harrison's private man cave, as you will. So this was his billiards room. This is kind of where he'd entertain him and his pals. It's really interesting because when you look at the ceiling, he enjoyed his cigars so much they actually stained the ceiling yellow. One other really cool fact, Horst Tremblay really wanted to put the use of the rooms into all of the different architecture. So over on the fireplace, and the fireplaces throughout the castle, you will see the Harrison family crest. Along with this one in particular, it does have this suites and a deck of cards on all the shields around the fireplace. Back when this was Beaver College, this used to be the house mother's kind of apartment, so she'd be the one who would overlook all of the residents above her, which is really interesting. Now we pretty much, as you can see, use it for meetings. Different club events are also held in here as well. And now we're going to be taking a look over at the dining room. Alrighty, so welcome to the Great Towers Castle dining room. Another one of my favorite places here at Arcadia because the ceilings are beautiful, they are gilded. Another feature that Horst Tremblay, the architect, wanted to put in through all the rooms, especially this one, is that throughout all of the woodwork, there is utensils and food that is carved into everywhere. Also note, you can kind of see the expansive size of this room. This is roughly the size of one of the residence hall rooms upstairs. That room does hold around 7 people. It is usually 2 to 7 residents that do live in each room in the castle. But we'll actually be taking now a look at the music landing up on the 2nd floor. All right, welcome to the Music Landing. This is probably one of my favorite places on campus to take a nap, just saying. But it's really cool. So back in the day, the Harrisons did install this as part of their home. However, none of them were actually musically inclined. Behind me right here is actually one of the big tapestries throughout the tapestry collection out through Great Towers Castle. It depicts the muse of music, so anyone up here would be creatively inclined to play music, write, or anything like that. Again, you can see on the fireplace over here, we do have a Harrison family crest, which is really cool. But yeah, now we're gonna take a look upstairs. All right, so this is the last stop here on our tour. So one thing I know I did mention downstairs a little bit was the residence hall room. So the residence hall room, Mr. and Mrs. Harrison did split the castle directly in half. So actually, if you stand this way, to the right here is the male side, and then to the left is the female side. So there are roughly 50 residents that do get to live in the castle. I was a resident that lived in the castle my freshman year here at Arcadia, and I have to say it was probably one of my greatest experiences having ever, probably in my lifetime. It was really cool. Also, one really cool thing that I actually just recently learned was that on the ceiling here, you see all these glass tiles. This was used as a permanent form of air conditioning back in the day. They'd actually open up all those, open up the doors and windows, and it would kind of circulate the air around, which is really cool. But other than that, I hope you guys did enjoy the tour and hope to see you here at Arcadia.